I mean, our next guest, I mean, he had hot quarters being fired at him from different corners of the earth.
Yeah, that's true. Over in Turkey, right, Slay?
Yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed. They're probably still doing that. Guess what? That may have been a way of them welcoming you. I just wasn't used to it. So.
That's true. You never know in different cultures. Rod
Right.
Slay is with us, SEC Network.
I mean, hell, where are we today, Slay? I mean, are we going to sign a loan? You about to get? Do I need to get some financial papers here?
What, you don't like his office setup?
I said, I mean, you're looking down at me.
I wish that's where I was. I'm actually in my wife's office right now because I got to get some connection up there in the boom boom room. But right now I'm in here. I've invaded, and she can't wait till I leave her office. So yeah, move right along.
So, Rod, we were talking about this earlier. Obviously, Johni Broome goes down in the second half of that South Carolina game. Auburn able to survive, probably the number one team when it comes out today. It looks like it's not going to be as significant as you thought watching the game. With all that said, how good can this Auburn team be right now without Johni Broome?
Man, without them, it's a wait and see moment. I do think they are loaded as far as the guards to be able to do more dynamic things than just be a shooting guard or just be a point guard. You got guys, man, with length. Baker Mazar is a guy that you could expect to get down there. Howard working his way back in is a guy that I think is.
Oh, you're with us? We still hear you. We never lost you.
Oh, okay. I had my bad, y'all. Pull back the curtain a bit. I was listening to Rand Carthon. So the show it went off and it was still playing in my ear. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so anyway, my bad. But you got guys like that. Chaney Johnson is a guy that's gonna be able to get in there and get some big minutes. But I just think when you look at Bruce Pearl, he's a guy that's able to play a lot of different styles. Even on his Final Four team, he didn't necessarily have a guy that you could throw it to the block and say, go get busy and run the offense through. He had to supplement it through different ways. His key guy was standing at the top as a stretch forward, and then Harper and those guys were getting busy at the point guard spot. So it was a different dynamic. I think he's one that can always adapt to any situation because of the way he coaches, the situations that he's been in, from being with that Final Four group to watching Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler, adapting to them, to now having Johni Broome for 3 years. So I think the biggest thing is, what do you do to attract people's eyes? I think, as far as getting those shooters, good looks, because when you throw it to Broome, he's going to attract everybody, and not only defenses coming down to help, but guys turning their heads in order to see exactly where he is. Like, he caught that one pass on the wing when they played at home 2 games ago, and that skip pass to Baker Mazara, that was ridiculous, from one left wing all the way to the corner. But that's because there's so many eyes on him trying to be where he's supposed to be. So it's gonna be they gotta figure out a way to supplement that.
One time I tried to work my way into the really good. This is way back in the day now because I'm older now. But when I was younger, tried to work my way into the good game at the YMCA with the good players, some former college players playing, and they wouldn't let me play on the court because they told me I didn't know really. I played defense too tight and I didn't let them land. Is there a code in basketball with high-end players about protecting your ankles? Because it's amazing to me that I don't see what happened to Johni happen a lot more.
No, it should. And listen, that's the trash. That's the trash that you get caught up in sometime. And it's even crazier because a lot of times it's your own teammate not getting out the way. But you see it all the time in football as well. They tell you kind of keep your head on the swivel when you're in there with all those bodies. Got offensive linemen, you see it a lot, getting their knees rolled up by a play, somebody continuing to block, or it's a lot of different situations. But man, you continue to play, man, until things are cleared out, and it's a freak accident. It just happens that way. But I know one thing, and it's different now. That's why coaches always made you have your ankles taped. Like, I don't know if that's still a thing. I know a lot of guys wearing the low-cut shoes and things of that nature. Not saying that would have prevented any of it, but it's just a different day and age. So this happening, Yeah, Jimmy, we can't let you get in there. You all in the way, you rolling ankles. Yeah, we got to keep you out of.
Yeah.
You got to go to court beat. We put you on the beat.
That's exactly where they sent me. That's where they sent me. Yes.
That's where they sent you.
Ron Slay is with us. SEC Network at the Ron Slay on Twitter is where you find him. When you look at Alabama, they go to Texas A&M. It was Lance doesn't believe it, but it was the first ever top 10 matchup in College Station, and they never trailed in that game. Now I know A&M's playing without their best player.
Come on, Slay. I got all kinds of, my bad, y'all. I got all kinds of stuff going on, man.
I thought that was your wife. I thought it was your wife saying, hey, you said 10-10. You said 10-10.
Listen, we probably got about 8 to 10 more minutes. And you will hear. You not want to hear, you'll see them.
Okay. All right. We'll keep it moving. But when you look at Alabama to go to a place like A&M and never trail, even with them without their best player, it is so hard to win on the road in this conference. It was an impressive performance by the Tide.
Absolutely, man. And I had an opportunity to see them play against South Carolina, and they did the same thing there. And it's always done differently. Like, you got so many people affecting the game. Like, Mark Sears didn't even necessarily get going right away. You looked up, Aiden Holloway was getting buckets. Phylon was getting buckets. You got so many people that, and then the other thing, Chris Youngblood. Now he's starting to get acclimated and getting into a rhythm. Then you're sitting there and Mark Sears is 0 for 2. You step away for a minute and come back and he has 10 points. It's like, where did this onslaught come from? But that's how Nado's plays. That's the freedom that he gives his guys. Like, and I think that's why they're so good this year. Because that team that they had last year, they brought back the core pieces of it and added guys like Big Cliff down low, Chris Youngblood to be able to help Phylon stepping in. So, and then Aiden Holloway transferring in. You got these McDonald's All-Americans and Reed coming off the bench. Like, where does it stop? That is the thing. Where does it stop? He did a platoon sub against South Carolina and didn't miss a beat. Like, what coach in the country outside of him and Bruce Pearl can do that? You know what I'm saying? So that's the upper echelon, the difference in these teams, man. They got the depth. And yes, Texas A&M is tough, especially at home. That defense, the physicality they bring, boy, Alabama look prime for the running.
Is there a team, Slay, that is kind of off? And this is a difficult question because it's the SEC and it seems like every team is ranked. But is there a team that nobody's talking about that you think is a really, really good team that can make a lot of noise once we get to March?
Yeah, and I hate this is being said right now, knowing that Mississippi State got to go to Auburn tomorrow, but we shall see. But Mississippi State is that team to me. Mississippi State is that team that can get on a run, the way they play, the physicality, the way they control the paint, the scoring that they add now with Claudel Harris. That's huge to be able to take a load off of Josh Hubbard to be able to get easier buckets. But the emergence of Kayshawn Murphy and also Cam Matthews is different, and then if you can continue to build on that and get people like Sean Jones in there to be able to get some flashes of some timely buckets, they're always going to play defense. But to be able to score on the road, they're good in the hump. To be able to score on the road is going to be different. Another team, man, that's kind of flying on the radar outside of the teams like that you notice, like the Floridas and Kentucky, the way they're playing, the way they bounce back, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, the list goes on and on. But Georgia, man, I think you start to scratch your head and wonder, like, how for real is Georgia and Mike White? So they beat 2 top 25 opponents. Now, granted, it was at home, so they got to go on the road. I think they go to Tennessee next. So we're going to see if that travels. But Asa Noor is a freshman that he's a problem. Silas Demery coming back with his experience last year, adding a guy like Tyron Lawrence, Blue Cane emerging. Like, you got some guys, man, that can get it done, and they're just sneaking right up under the radar. And before you know it, we're going to look up, man, they're going to have 8 wins, and we're going to be right at the halfway point, like, wow, where did Mike White come from with this group? So
Slade just named Auburn's next 2 opponents, by the way, if you're keeping score.
Well, guess what? If you want to test You absolutely get to see the Texas right here with these things.
And then they get your Tennessee Volunteers at Neville after that. Those are the next three. LT was just talking Georgia up. Before I ask my final question, I just need you to say Phylon, Phylon, Phylon one more time because you were killing me in the side.
That's my guy, man. Phylon. I love his game, dog. Let me just hit on him for now. We got outstanding freshmen all through the league, from Asa Newell, Boogie Flan, Pettiford at Auburn. And then you look at Phylon, and the list goes on. But with Phylon, his numbers are good, but the impact that he brings, man, to that team, it can't be measured in numbers. You got to literally sit down and watch his game because of what he's doing on the defensive end. As a freshman with his IQ, to be able to handle the ball the way he does and let Mark Sears be able to play off the ball and get others involved, man, I'm so impressed by the young fella, man. I love watching this game, man.
All right, do you have a midweek game this week, or are you studio? What are you doing this week?
Man, I got Mississippi State and Auburn tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
as it
hitting the
turns out.
road. I'm hitting the road today, man. So I get to get down there in the jungle. Hopefully, it's wild and crazy. I need the fans, man, throwing headbands all around, popcorn going in the air. I want the real jungle.
Oh, I think it is. I think it's the first with the students back. I think it's the first game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
class
this is
back in.
perfect.
Yeah. All right, so
I'll be in the crowds. At some point, I will be in the crowd. I don't know if they can pick 285 pounds up and let me crowd surf, but we may find out. hope SEC got good insurance, baby. We'll test it.
only one way to find out, Slay.
That's right.
At the Ron Slay, see him from Neville, Auburn, and Mississippi State this week. Thank you, Slay. Have a great day. Always fun talking to you.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Y'all take care now. Hey, Dunaway, do not get close.
That's right.
Any feet, man.
I got to give you room to land, man. Room to land.
That's all we ask. And where the headband at, dog? You can't play around with the headband at SEC media days and stuff like that and not have it always on deck.
You're right.
Every time Slay comes on, I want you to wear it. Will you wear it?
Yeah,
I don't even know
man.
where it is
Put it
now.
on the mic or something, man.
I don't even know where it is now. Hey, it's crazy. I was one of 28 in Neville Arena, and then who went in there and missed their first 24 shots the other night? It was pretty bad. Somebody missed their first 24 shots there the other night. We love you, Slay, man. Thank you.
Slay. Be
All right,
good.
fellas. Appreciate y'all. Happy New Year, too.
Happy New Year, buddy. That is always fun to talk to Ron Slay. The Ron Slay is where you find him on social media. He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.